Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. We are here recording episode 154. And today, sorry, I can't talk right now. Today we are talking about a very controversial and heated debate, which is Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas. So to some of you, we're going to wish you some happy holidays. Some of you other Christmas snowflakes will happily wish you a Merry Christmas as well. This is a debate that I think has been going on for a few years now, at least in the United States, where I think maybe it all started with a Starbucks cup that said Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas. I'm not 100% sure about the origins. Perhaps Jared knows, and we can talk about them in a little bit. But there are a lot of people really against the idea of wishing people happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas. And so we will be breaking this down later and discussing it. And I'm curious to see what Jared has brought for us today. So without further ado, my good buddy and my fellow co-host, my fellow happy holiday or possibly Merry Christmas wisher, what's going on, Jared?
Hello. Today marks day 6,397 of the war on Christmas, Chad. I went to Starbucks today. I was excited to order a latte, and they handed me a red cup. No Christmas trees, no Santa Claus, not even a damn reindeer on that cup. I was like, all right, it's red. It's red. At least I'll have a nice interaction with my favorite barista, Crispin. Crispin turned to me and said, "Hey, Jared, have a happy holidays." And I said, "God damn it, Kristen. You have a Merry Christmas, okay? Everyone in here have a Merry Christmas. Please spread a little love. Follow us on Instagram, where the fight continues. I will not end until everyone is telling me Merry Christmas at all times. Untranslatable Podcast is the namesake of this podcast. I don't know how you couldn't find it. But clearly, according to my deep analytical research of the data, I'm noticing clearly some of you aren't finding it. So
spread a little love.
Follow us on Twitter, too. Untranslatable1, the number 1. 5-star reviews on iTunes and or Stitcher, and or whichever one you use. But hey, listen, even if you don't use one, you're welcome to still do it on the other one. Mm-hmm. Chad, it's good to see you. It's good to see you sitting up straight.
Yep.
Good to see you relatively not sweaty. How are you feeling?
Well, let's give the listeners a little context here. So we were slated to record 2 days ago, and I had ordered fried chicken from a place I've ordered fried chicken before. So I thought it was safe, and I remember Jared telling me before I got to China, at some point you are going to get either food poisoning or traveler's diarrhea, whatever you want to call it. I had some coming out both ends, so I would say that was...
I didn't say that. You said that.
Did I say that? I thought you said it.
Anyways, I probably agreed with you, but you seemed very convinced of it yourself. You were already talking about it like it was an inevitable thing that was already. You're like, well, when it happens, I'm gonna take this. But yeah, so you got a little sick from your. Did you? How soon after your meal did you realize something was wrong?
So here's the thing. So are
you sure it was that meal too?
I'm pretty positive because at least from the other people I've talked to, in China when this happens, it happens pretty quick. Okay. And so I had my dinner, my Korean style fried chicken, which tasted delicious, by the way. But I ate I think around I ate around 7:00, and then by 9 or 9:30 I already how do I put this nicely? Artie was doing half of the toilet dance, meaning I wasn't throwing up yet, but definitely had it coming out the other way.
Something was amiss,
right? And that was at probably 9:30 or so, 9 or 9:30. So only a couple hours later.
Were you immediately like when you realized initially they're like this is a little okay? Were you initially like uh-oh, or were you just like that was not good?
That was my first thought, was just, that was not good. I figured it was probably just like a case of like the runs or something, and
happens.
Whatever. Right, it does happen. And I mean that has happened to me a little bit here in China, but it was nothing of serious concern.
But that's just
right.
normal.
Right. Well, not usually, not usually, but not usually, but anyways. So then I go to bed around midnight, and like my stomach was a little upset. At that point I should have taken something. I think that was where I made my fatal mistake.
You mean Z-Pack?
Z-Pack, or I have like some charcoal tablets as well.
Okay. Because I assume it works better the earlier you catch it, like any sort of sickness.
I would also assume so. I couldn't tell you because I didn't take it very early, but because I just figured
We'll find out next time. That'll be fun.
Oh God, let's don't put this on me, Jared. Don't you put this back on me. But anyways, so I go to bed, and I eventually fall asleep, and then I wake up at 5:20 something, and my stomach is in knots, and I realize like I need to go to the bathroom. So I like run to my bathroom. I'm not going to get into graphic detail, but I was definitely on the bathroom on the toilet for at least an hour. It was not good. And then try to go back to sleep.
Did you play any music or anything?
I didn't. No, I was wallowing in self-pity, and
there's nothing more pathetic than lying on the ground in front of your toilet.
I mean, I wasn't lying on the ground.
But like sitting, or like even like sitting on the well, now I'm really showing my my lowest lows in life. Or even just like sitting on the ground in front of your toilet, like just on the floor in front of your toilet is a sad moment, and I would hope everyone's life.
I would agree with that, but I was on that porcelain throne that entire hour, so I wasn't sitting on the floor.
I had it one time. I literally laid out my towel and lied down for like 10 minutes.
Oh, I believe it. I mean, trust me, I was getting pretty close to that point, and so
were you sweaty?
So yeah,
too? All sweaty.
Yep.
Yep. So what you ended up taking? Just charcoal or charcoal and Z-Pack?
Just charcoal. Just my
Why not Z-Pack?
Upset stomach.
How did you choose one over the other?
I don't know. I guess I wanted to. I knew it was bad, but I've had food poisoning before that was far more aggressive. Let me just put it this way: I only puked once, whereas I've had other food poisoning before where it's been like both really aggressively and really bad. Mm-hmm. So that's why I decided. Because after I threw up once, and I'm really sorry for all of our listeners. This is kind of gross, but this is my life in China. So here you go.
This is very useful for anyone that wants to or is an expat in a country with such a different culture. You know,
true.
Like this, it's
and
bound
different
to happen
food standards.
Yeah, different
too.
foods too. Yeah, it's bound to happen to a lot of people that do any sort of travel. I would say.
Right. Absolutely. And so anyway, so after I had thrown up once, I wasn't really like my stomach was upset, but you know how you can kind of tell when like it's really not your stomach, but your intestines that are upset versus like you're feeling nauseous. I could tell there was a distinct feeling between those two. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to take the charcoal because I don't know.
Why are you trying to be stingy with your medication?
Because I'm trying to, if this happens again and it's worse, that's when I would use the Z-Pack.
Right. I guess that's fair. You did admit that this is not as, You know, I kind of have a similar mentality here in Michigan. When it's starting to turn to winter, it takes a long time, I think longer than it needs to, for me to bring out my heaviest jacket, because I'm like, well, once I upgrade from my, lower level, but still a winter jacket, my green jacket, once I upgrade from to the next level of jacket, this is my highest level of jacket. So I can't get comfortable in winter, early winter, when it's 30 degrees out in my big jacket, when it comes to negative 20. And I'm like, I don't have anything better.
Right. Layers, my man. Layers. I've been busting out my thickest winter jacket now for a couple weeks, so I'm gonna have to layer it up once it gets a lot colder here. But anyway, so the food poisoning though. So then we were supposed to record a podcast. I want to thank Jared for being so flexible, because I texted him and I was in bed, also sweaty, like feeling like death. And I was like, dude, like we could try to record, but if we could push it to another day, that would be great.
You betcha.
because I don't want to be sitting here and about to say something and be like, oh, be right back. Be right back. So,
I don't know. I told you this might make great content.
Maybe I'd fall on my ass on the way to the toilet, and then it'll take even longer to come back and keep recording. But anyways, so but that kind of derailed my entire day. I had a bunch of work I wanted to get done. I was so exhausted because I slept for maybe, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours, and then had a 3-hour intermission between my sleep, and then went back for a couple hours. And I have not felt this weak or this exhausted in a long time. I couldn't tell you the last time I felt so physically drained. I also was pretty emotionally drained after that. Like I'm kind of a baby when it comes to not getting enough sleep. And
I'll tell you this: you seem if I hadn't known, you seem fine to me. You
mean right now?
Yeah.
Well, it's been 2 days. It's been lots of 1.5 liter bottle of water drinking, and
so have you've definitely made an extra point to be sort of extra hydrated these days.
Extra hydrated. I've been on a strict, not spicy chicken, like grilled chicken, rice and banana diet, like very bland, plain foods. Yeah. So been trying to do my best to
do you
get
get
back
nervous
to health.
when you eat anything now?
Well, right now I've only been eating the same stuff. So ask me tomorrow or tonight when I'm eating different stuff. I don't think so. I will tell you though, I'm probably never going to order fried chicken from that place again, which is a bummer because it's super delicious.
That is a bummer.
Yeah. Because I'm like 99% positive that it's that. Because what I had for lunch, I've also eaten before, and it's never even given me an upset stomach before.
Did you end up going to work and teaching? You started like 2 or 3?
I did, and I tell you what, man, I really was. I'm not a super religious guy, but I was definitely saying some prayers.
Merry Christmas,
hoping. I was definitely saying some prayers and hoping I would get through the lesson, because when I teach for 3 45-minute blocks. So I teach for like over 2 hours. So it's tough. But the funny thing is, like, I was going to tell my students, like, hey, just a heads up, if like I seem a little drained today, like it's because, I had my first bout of food poisoning in China.
That's embarrassing.
And but I ended up not telling them. But I think they could tell a little bit. Like I was definitely not my usual self.
Yeah, but they probably won't. Maybe they'll think you were sick or off or something, but they probably wouldn't jump to, oh, yeah, he's probably been shitting himself all night.
Probably not. Probably not. But
because that doesn't happen to them as anywhere close to as often, I would assume.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of Chinese people also have that same problem. Like I've had colleagues who, I've heard colleagues who, their students will say, like, I really have to go to the bathroom, and then they'll ask them, like, is this like kind of a more serious issue? And if they say yes, they're like, just go home. Like, just go home.
Wow. I assumed that, like, when I was in Tanzania, they were serving us different food, like certain foods or beverage they would serve us. Like they made this homemade banana beer. And our kind of tour guide guy was like, I would not drink that if I was there. He's like, I don't even drink that.
Right.
But they were just like casually drinking it like it was a Miller High Life.
Right. Well, so the thing is that yes, I would say there are probably certain things that would upset a foreigner or a Westerner stomach here in China that might not mess with their stomach as much. But the problem is that a lot of this actually comes down to hygiene and bacteria.
Right.
And so that's still, I think your body, I'm not a doctor. Jared's a doctor. I'm not a doctor. But there's only like a certain threshold, I would assume, of how much bacteria your body can handle, especially your digestive tract, until no
matter the level of, no matter the quality of food that you get on a daily basis, no one's immune to moldy food,
Right. Well, and the thing is, too, with food poisoning,
you can handle it better, but no one's,
right.
It's just like, oh, no, I can eat anything.
Exactly. And the whole thing with like food poisoning, and also another thing that kind of has the same effects as food poisoning is like a norovirus, is that both of these things, your body is trying to get that bacteria and that bad stuff out of you as fast as possible, which is why it's usually coming out of both ends, coming out very quickly, kind of violently. But the funny thing about this whole ordeal, though, Jared, is that I had gotten to the level now in China where I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not actually going to get food poisoning. Maybe the food here is actually okay, and I'll be all right. But
Just
you know
when
what?
you start
though?
to get comfortable.
Exactly. But you know what? I should have maybe known, because I had actually ordered fried chicken from this place. I probably ordered it from this place 4 or 5 times. There have been a couple times where like I ordered it and then the next day I had like a little bit of like the runs, but it was nothing serious and no seriously bad upset stomach. The interesting thing though is like when I order it, because it's so cheap, I would usually order enough to eat it for like 2 meals. And then I've noticed when I cook it, and I think I cook it a bit longer, then there's no issues whatsoever.
Interesting.
So I wonder if they're just not cooking it long enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's
But
chicken?
anyways, it's chicken. Yep. Fried chicken.
Interesting.
So
All right.
so
I'm
yeah.
disgusted. Can Spread we,
a
little love.
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm glad you're feeling better though.
Me too.
And
Me too.
definitely could have been worse. It seems like. So. I'm
Oh
glad,
yeah. I mean, I know people in China that have definitely ended up in the hospital.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then in China, I know when you go to the hospital here, I've heard basically it doesn't matter what you, at least if you're in a Chinese hospital, not like a westernized Chinese hospital, is that I know that a lot of people here in China, they'll put you on an IV. Doesn't matter what you're in there for, they will put you on an IV. I hate needles, so I am terrified of going to the hospital here in China. Because they'll put you on an IV drip pretty much no matter what. They love IVs here. So anyways, let's spread some love, though. Let's spread some love.
Spread a little love.
So my first one goes out to a support group called, I believe it's called Friends, E-L-E Friends, which was created by the Mental Health Charity Mind, is a forum that has been helping people who have been dealing with cyberbullying. And when I first read this article, Jared, I kind of thought, well, to some extent, like I've watched a lot of comedians do stand-up bits about cyberbullying. And, you know, a lot of them will say something along the lines of, well, if you're getting cyberbullied, just turn off your computer or whatever. Which I think years and years ago, that was definitely a thing. But nowadays, because we are so attached to our phones, unless you're willing to turn off all your notifications, not use any of your social media accounts, not check your emails, we are so ingrained with using phones and the internet nowadays that I think that cyberbullying is a much bigger issue. And so I think it's really... Go ahead.
A lot of these famous people that might tell people just turn off your computer or turn off your turn off your phone or whatever, and or close Facebook, and you won't have these issues. I bet you a lot of them would admit, or maybe not admit, but definitely probably has happened where they've been like negatively affected by something that they've seen someone write about them on Twitter or Instagram or something. Now, a lot of them might say, yeah, like, no, I don't look at my comments. Oh, no, that's a cesspool.
Right.
But I bet you that for a lot of people that started because they saw some shit that are like, I don't like this. Like, that one was a little too real. And I don't need this sort of unnecessary negativity in my life. So I think a lot of those people that make fun of it, now that they're probably even more into it now, would be like, oh, like maybe they wouldn't call it cyberbullying because they're scared of being like considered wimps or something. But I think that a lot of people could admit that it's affected them if they have any sort of platform, or I mean people that don't too. But
right. Well, I think the whole thing about cyberbullying too is that it's just I think it also can get to a level as well where like you can be bombarded with messages and all sorts of stuff, and you feel like no matter what you do, it just keeps getting worse and worse. So I think this is really amazing. So I think it's really great. Set up Friends, I think, which stands for like electric, I would imagine. I think this is such a great forum where people can help each other and be there for one another. And I think being in solidarity with other people can be such an empowering thing. So I think it's really great that there is a space for people to reach out when they're having issues and problems, and they can get help they need from that forum. So I think it's really great.
You betcha.
My next shout out goes out to, this is a pretty crazy story, Jared. My next story takes us back to the Czech Republic, my previous hometown for a year last year.
Yeah.
And this story, here's the headline for you, Jared. The Czech priest who brought a village back to life. High in the Eagle Mountains of the Czech Republic is a village with a difference. 80% of its residents have a disability. A charismatic priest turned the once abandoned spot into a community for some of the country's most marginalized citizens. So my next shout out goes out to Father Josef Suchar, who is, he came, I believe, in the late, when did he come? I'm trying to find it real quick. 1987. So 2 years before the revolution in the Czech Republic. And for those of you unaware of Czech history, 1989 was the end of communism in the Czech Republic, which did cause a big ripple effect and a lot of change within the Czech Republic. And so he came to this town and realized that this town was decimated. During the communist era, this village really did not get the support it needed. A lot of the disabled people, I kid you not, Jared, were locked away in some of the castles in the Eagle Mountains. They were locked away, condemned by the state. By the state here, we mean the former, I believe it would be former Soviet state in the Czech Republic, as dangerous, destructive. Thousands were removed from their family, and propaganda spread that disability was infectious. A lot of people didn't survive. And so when Father Josef came, he had the support of a few volunteers, but a lot of people also thought he was kind of crazy with his vision and his goals for this village. Now, about 30 years later, they say that the village is now unrecognizable from what it once was. A microbrewery opened there in 2018. Now there's also a pub serving Czech specialties such as pork and dumplings, which is a great Czech dish if you ever want to try it. There's also a shop, a school, a playground, a restaurant, a market garden, and an orchard. There are handsome alpine cottages with neat gardens, and lavender and geraniums all near the area as well. So I think it's really amazing that he was able to make this, kind of revive this village, and I think he deserves a lot of love. So we thank you, Father Josef Suchar.
Shout out Father Joe. Let's get into some untranslatables, please.
Let's do it. Get us started, Jared.
Okay. I always like to find untranslatables are idioms, sayings, proverbs, signaled by the aforementioned and foreheard untranslatable owl. My first one is Malaysian, and it's capo, and it means home grannies or grandmas, but grannies is more fun.
Home grannies. Home grannies.
Hey, get out of here, you home granny! Not get out of here.
Is this just like example. Is this just like a homebody? Someone that never leaves home?
Example.
Okay.
That was a bad example. Leave me alone, you home granny.
That doesn't really help me either.
Here, I'll give you an example. I was just in Baton Rouge, where a lot of my family lives, and my grandpa asked me if I go to church.
Okay.
If I have a church, and older relatives always ask me that question, and I always want to tell them, well, not even just older relatives, but what is older relatives usually? But this has the grannies part has nothing to do with old people. Let's just be clear.
Okay.
You know, a lot of my older relatives always ask me this, and I always want to just be like, hey, can you just leave me alone, you home grannies? You're not going to like the answer anyway.
So it's like somebody who's like asking information that they don't want to hear, like the answer to?
Well, that's what I told you, but that's not what it is.
What
exactly.
is it?
Curious to the point of being annoying.
Ah, okay. I guess, is that because grannies like to ask lots of questions, usually?
I guess, but what does it do with home? You didn't include the home part.
I have no idea. Yeah. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. What do you usually say? I'm just curious. When they ask you if you go to church, do you just tell them no?
No, I just lie and say yes.
Really? Okay.
What benefit is there to them asking me this question? Because one, and I really wish you didn't ask me that, because I don't know who listens to this, but I mean, my grandparents don't, that's for sure. But I mean, what are they like? There's only really one answer, you know. What am I supposed to say? No, and then what? Then what? They're gonna start proselytizing to me, or they're gonna tell me why I'm wrong for not going.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, I mean, I hear you. Still not. You're still not moving the needle there, though. There, Chief.
True.
You're lucky I drag myself when I come home to visit you guys.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a tricky situation. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like
I'm not
I
gonna
remember
say what I just said. And Mom, Dad, I apologize. But
it's funny though.
I don't go. I don't want to go.
Right. I remember. I think you were the person that told me this. I don't remember what we were talking about, but you were like, don't ask questions you don't want to hear the answer to.
Yeah.
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 But I'm not following my own logic there because I just lie.
Right.
I don't tell them the real answer because it's like why am I hurting a senior citizen's feelings for no reason?
Right. Well, and I'm sure with their beliefs, they are asking you because they truly believe that you need to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to go. Like if you want to, attain salvation, you need to go. Yeah.
They're not looking for a friendly conversation on the merits of going versus not going. I was actually kind of nervous too. Not nervous. It was just I didn't want to get into it because I said yes, I go. And I asked. My dad was sitting on the other side of the living room kitchen.
And what'd your dad say?
Well, my grandpa, luckily he's an old man and he kind of talks quietly nowadays.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think he heard. But I'm like, I don't want my dad to hear that I'm I don't not know if I'm lying or not. Then he's going to ask me and be like, no, I was just lying to your dad. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, nobody wants to know what's like, just leave me alone.
Right.
Okay. My next untranslatable.
Here, I got one for you. For you. Slow down.
Wait, you just... Oh, I thought you... I forgot. We talked about grannies. I forgot where this
Yeah, we're talking about grannies. Here we go. I got you all flustered, Jared. My bad. All right. Mine is Indonesian because not next month, but the following month, I will be going to Bali for work. So I figured it'd be fun to try to learn a little... Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yep.
Bring your swim trunks.
I thought I brought a pair. I can't find them. I can't find them, so I'm going to have to buy a pair. Anyways, this one's Indonesian. It is Air tenang jangan disangka tiada buaya, which means don't presume that still water doesn't have crocodiles in it.
Oh, like don't judge a book by its cover. Or it's like don't underestimate someone.
There we go. Very good. Don't underestimate a certain situation or problem because there might be something more involved that could cause you some problems. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I understand. I try to do that. Not, if someone seems stupid, don't just automatically assume they're stupid.
Right.
I did that one time in college, and everyone sort of in our program thought this guy was dumb. And I remember and I had a project with him, and he was so unhelpful. But graduation day comes, and they're announcing the magna cum laudes, and there he goes up there with a 3.98 GPA.
Is this who I think it is?
I don't know. I don't know who you would think it is.
I think he was in Sigma Chi.
No.
No. Okay. All right. We'll talk about it after the show because I'm curious now. Anyways, give me your next untranslatable.
It's not who you're thinking because I don't think he was in a fraternity at all.
Okay.
My next untranslatable. Sorry, I keep throwing myself off. We're really going on tangents here. Stay on focus. Malaysian is my next one as well. You know what? I take that back. Nope. Yeah. My next one is Russian, and it is
Пожалуйста.
No, that's not my untranslatable. That's David. Ruki ne dokodyat. Ruki ne dokodyat.
Ruki is hand, right? Or hands?
Parada.
Yeah,
Very good.
So hands aren't, and I don't know what that last word is.
Hands don't reach. Or
hands don't
reaching,
reach.
I guess would be.
Hands don't reach.
Wow. Is that the same in Czech or something?
Ruka is, yeah. But I've also been learning Russian on Duolingo. Fun fact for you. Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'd even be impressed if you just knew like hands off the top of your hand in Czech.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I can still remember an okay amount of Czech. I'm sure I'm still losing more than I want. But anyways, So hands don't reach. Is this like hands don't reach? Huh. Is it like when something's insufficient?
You need to be a little more specific than that.
When When you don't have enough resources to do something. Ooh,
Very
all right.
good.
All right.
Very good. You don't have the time or bandwidth to do stuff.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
Good. Wow, we
Okay.
really...
That was a good one. All right. My last one for you is Chinese.
yes.
And it is hold up, I gotta do the tones with my hand here. I'll probably still say it wrong. Sha Ji Jing Ho, which means kill the chicken to scare the monkey.
It's not like cut off your head to spite your face.
No.
Okay.
Kill
It's
the
like
chicken
you-
to scare the monkey.
It's like you make unnecessary sacrifices. Okay. Necessary sacrifices?
Nope. So I'll give you an example, Jared. So say I'm teaching my English class later this afternoon, and one student decides to disrupt the whole class, right? And then I say, all right, you know what? That was completely uncalled for. We are all going to say 20 minutes later after class today, and you are going to write me an essay why you shouldn't disrupt the class.
Oh, so it's like other people suffering for someone else's mistake.
Kind of. It's more of punish an individual as an example to others.
Oh.
So maybe that wasn't
I
the
hate
greatest
that.
examples, but yeah.
No, that was a good example. That was a good example. Or you get to give a speech to your class on why you shouldn't interrupt a classroom or something.
Right.
Stupid.
Exactly.
Speaking of stupid things,
Let's talk about it. Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays.
let me first give you some fun facts about just to put into context for the people outside of the United States that don't understand Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas. First of all, Christmas is on December 25th, and it's in December now, and so a lot of people here in the U.S. celebrate Christmas, so it's popular to say Merry Christmas to people. But a lot of people try to be more inclusive and say Happy Holidays because there are various people of various religions or whatever that don't celebrate Christmas, and so it's
Right.
like, it's just like. It's just like, well, let's just give a more overarching theme to just say like, oh, enjoy your holidays. Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, but you probably still get time off around Christmas. Enjoy
Right.
that time off, the
Right.
holiday times. Or maybe you celebrate Hanukkah, which is in the same sort of time period as Christmas, but not Christmas.
Right.
Enjoy your holiday, which is Hanukkah. Something like that. 67% of Republicans interesting Republicans, let me be clear,
okay.
don't think it's necessary for businesses to ditch a Christmas greeting for Happy Holidays. Only 30% of Democrats feel the same. Party preference was the sharpest dividing line on this question, but young people are also far more likely to prefer a non-denominational salutation, 67%.
That doesn't
as
surprise
are
me.
Black Americans, 69%.
Okay.
Giggity.
What about white Americans? Does it say?
They don't matter, is what it says. No, it doesn't say. I don't know. I maybe if I just pulled out like sections from the article. Maybe if
Gotcha.
but I don't think it's said. I actually don't think it's said. 'Cause
Right.
They were trying to show like where the biggest changes were, and I bet
Right.
you it's closer to a 50-50 split with white Americans. It's just a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
But it's interesting that it's like a political thing,
Yeah.
But I think that shows how much also religion plays into politics. But
In the States, for sure. I will say this, though, too, Jared. Now that I think about it, at the very, very top of the show, I said that it's been going on for a few years. I actually think this has probably been going on for like maybe even 10 years. Because I
feel like-
remember
go
I
ahead.
remember when I used to work in retail at the Dexter Pharmacy back in the day, where I would usually, tell people happy holidays just because I didn't know what their religion was. I didn't know what they celebrated. I don't want to, wish someone happy Christmas, or happy Christmas. Am I British now? Merry Christmas.
did they say Happy Christmas?
I think so. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Happy
And
Christmas.
and they look at me and they're like, I celebrate Hanukkah or whatever. Anyways, so
Right.
I would usually say happy holidays to be safe. And I had a couple people, and this was when I was like 16, 17, 18. So this would have been, 10 to 12 years ago, where there were a few people that got kind of like short with me or got a little snippy and were like, Merry Christmas. And then I would, of course, like say back to them, Merry Christmas. And then it seemed like the issue was resolved. But then I thought about it, and it's like, well, what if I didn't celebrate Christmas? Like, you're kind of an asshole.
So let me answer your initial concern.
Mm-hmm.
Former Fox News media personality, that's the only place I get my news.
Right.
Bill O'Reilly,
famous
sexual assaulter. The most notorious war on Christmas alarmist of the past 2 decades. This is from Snopes, by the way. Recited his conspiratorial version of the controversy during a television broadcast in 2004.
Okay.
Now, I'll be fair. I agree with you. I think it really started becoming a thing, with social media. That's where I think I think when Bill, and I'll tell you what he said in a second, but I think more in the 2004 time, it was more of a thing with older people. But I think like people like me in 2004, I didn't care. Honestly, I still don't care. Like, I still don't care, but let me be clear. I still don't care what people say to me.
Right.
But that's privilege, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
So this is from Bill O'Reilly. All over the country, Christmas is taking flack. In Denver this past weekend, no religious floats were permitted in the holiday parade there. In New York City, Mayor Bloomberg unveiled the holiday tree and no Christian Christmas symbols are allowed in the public schools. How are those two things related? Federated department stores, Macy's, have done away with the Christmas greeting, Merry Christmas. Now all of this anti-Christmas stuff is absurd and may even be a bias situation. But the real reason it's happening has little to do with Christmas and everything to do with organized religion. Secular progressives realize that America, as it is now, will never approve of gay marriage, partial birth abortion, euthanasia, legalized drugs, income redistribution, throughout taxation, and many other progressive visions because of religious opposition. But it's the secularists. But if the secularists can destroy religion in the public arena, the brave new progressive world is a possibility. That's what's happened in Canada. So that's his quote.
I will say this though. I don't think he's 100% off about progressives wanting to tone down religion in the public sector. He has a lot of crazy ideas. I don't think he's that far off with that idea.
Yeah, maybe you're right, but I would bet you also, Mr. I guess. But what about the whole separation of church and state? Isn't that in the Constitution?
It is. That's a great point.
Aren't those
and a lot of
people obsessed with the Constitution and following it to a T?
They like to say that, yeah. Yeah.
So I would say that, I think you're right. I think progressive people do want to tone down Christian messages in public because the United States is not a Christian country. Now, yes, by majority
statistically speaking, we are, yes, but
and yes, we function as one. But
right.
If you were to open the not the almanac, is that what it is?
What?
Or like the atlas or whatever, and flip to the United States of America, and it said official religion. It would say no religion, right? It wouldn't say Christianity.
I would Google that to be sure, Jared. I think it might say Christianity. I mean, we don't have any official religion. You're right, but I would say the majority religion is definitely Christian. Yeah, I don't know if we have an official religion.
As a Christian place, but like we're not a Christian. Like all these people, and I'm saying this because all these people like Bill O'Reilly that told us as like losing our Christian faith as a country. Where it's like you're welcome to celebrate that, Mr. Or Mr. and Mrs. I want to be free, but like you can't get mad at people for or like say that like they're ruining or like trying to destroy the country by saying happy holidays. They're merely trying to say agree to everyone.
Right.
And it's like you guys just want to dismiss a large portion of the the population because you think your portion of the population is the most important and runs the United States, which I guess is true, but it's not supposed to be. The United States remains a predominantly Christian nation with 78% of all adults identifying with Christian faith and more than 9/10 of those who identify as Christian. Okay, well, yeah, but that's not really answering my question. Anyway, whatever. Keep going. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, I think the interesting thing, too, about this whole Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas is I think a lot of people assume when you wish someone Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas that you're excluding Christmas. But Christmas is a part of the holiday during the holiday season. So I think it all depends on how you view what this phrase Happy Holidays really means. And I think
that's the hypocrisy, though. You know, you feel like they feel like they're excluding Christmas, but it's like, but you're by you being so adamant about Christmas, you're not even thinking about the people you're excluding.
Right. Yeah, I would agree, 100%. I just think it's really fascinating because it's like, why do I have to specifically say Christmas when I don't, look, if I know you celebrate Christmas, I mean, I celebrate Christmas as well. I will gladly say Merry Christmas to you. But if I don't know you that well, especially if I'm at like a store or if you think of it as on like a business standpoint, even though 9/10 of the population, at least according to whatever statistic you're pulling from, are Christian, there's still, I think, a large amount, especially in different areas. Like if you go to Dearborn, Michigan, I guarantee you the majority of the population there does not celebrate Christmas. So, I think also from a business standpoint, I think it's wiser to just not have a bunch of Christmas stuff up because then you could be excluding other clientele. Now, I kind of like the idea of a holiday tree. And why can't we use a holiday tree to also include other holidays like Kwanzaa and Hanukkah? Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are probably other holidays during that time of the year that I'm also missing, that I'm not informed about, because I'm sure there are. Could you just do me a favor and just Google other holidays during Christmas season or something like that? I'm sure you can Google it in a better way.
It starts with
well, not other, but different. How do I even say it?
Around around Christmas time.
Let's see what comes up. I'm curious.
Holidays around Christmas time. Kwanzaa, solstice, winter solstice, Chinese New Year, Yule.
Oh, Yule. Yep.
What is Yule? Yule log isn't that a log that you use to start a Christmas fireplace? I
think so, but I don't know. I've heard it before. I don't know.
Saturnalia.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Festivus, which is not really a real thing.
It's a real thing if you're a Seinfeld fan, Jared.
Chalika?
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Makar Sankranti, Rende. But I think we might be going. Junkaroo, I like that one. Malanka, Soyal. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Ironically, holiday is a Christian friendly greeting. The root holiday,
holy day.
Yeah, stems from holy day.
Right.
And for a long time in the U.S., saying Happy Holidays was an accepted way of saying Merry Christmas because holiday was just an assumed religious term already.
Right.
So it's interesting how that has now turned to be like an act of aggression against Christians saying
right. That's true. The other funny thing too is if I say Happy Holidays, it also saves me some breath because I don't have to if I don't see you until after the New Year, I have to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. That's a lot to say.
Say it like that,
right?
And a Happy New Year.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, do you so? Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I'm gonna be honest with you, but as I said before, that's definitely
not the case with a lot of people.
No, but I mean that's definitely a privilege. I think, a privilege in the sense where
why do you think it doesn't bother you?
Because I celebrate Christmas, but I also don't. I'm not that precious about Christmas as a holiday, and I'm not concerned about people destroying Christianity in the United States.
Right. I also don't think that by you not wishing me a Merry Christmas will really affect my Christmas whatsoever.
Yeah. So let's talk about, you mentioned the Starbucks cup. Now,
Right.
that wasn't the origination. Clearly, that's not the origination of the war on Christmas.
Okay.
But I think that definitely brought it back into light hugely.
Okay.
Now, I have an article here about it. I'll just
Oh,
kind
cool.
of read through it
Cool.
and skim some of it. Because that's really, to me, when it first became and maybe that's because that's really when I was getting more into social media and stuff. But that's personally, to me, with the Starbucks cup is when it really started getting into my purview.
Okay.
And so Starbucks notoriously in this time puts out a holiday cup. And so they have unveiled their holiday cups. This was from last year. A lineup of 4 festive, but not too festive, cups. Which is, so one of them is plain red with like sort of different shades of red and like different quadrants of it. Another one just has like holly looking leaves. Another one is like a red sort of design. Another one is like a green design. As the press release for the occasion explains, the 4 cups designs are meant to capture the 2-decade history of the holiday Starbucks cup. First introduced in 1997, in the spirit of the company in the spirit of nostalgia, the company snipped pieces from Starbucks holiday past for this year's cup, adding doses of vintage colors and patterns, and reinterpreted them with graphic flair and a dash of glitter and sunshine. The Argyle Green Star Cup, or Stargyle, alludes to an illustration of a couple reaching up to place a star atop a holiday tree from Christmas Blend 1999. The Stripes Cup is intended to tastefully evoke the extremely controversial, but as Starbucks would say, iconic red cup, which I brought up a second ago, while also referencing the sealed seam that runs along the back of the Starbucks coffee bags. The Flora version features holly-esque ripe coffee cherries, also featured on the holiday cups of 2013 and 2017. In the red and white espresso houndstooth has something to do with the brand's Christmas blend espresso roast coffee and dark and rich, and so is the pattern of houndstooth, which is likewise seasonal because it looks like flames. Now there's a little bit of, they're fine cups. The cup critics at Refinery 29, in fact, deem them the best we've seen in years. They're extremely tasteful in a very soft sort of way, pleasantly abstract, very Christmassy, but without much of the heavy handed iconography of Christmas. They're ripe Christmas cherries, okay, and evocative of simpler times like 1997. Since at least 2015, the holiday cups have become a battleground and a one-sided fight over American values. That's hilarious.
That is
for
pretty
the first
well
18
put.
years. This is from Vox, by the way. For the first 18 years, the holiday cup featured what the brand called symbols of the season, including but not limited to holly snowflakes, ice skates, reindeer, Christmas trees, Christmas lights, Christmas ornaments, doves, with the exception of the first anyway. But in 2015, the brand debuted a 2-tone ombre cup. That top part was poppy red, fading into a more soulful cranberry, without any seasonal symbols at all. In the past, we have told stories with our holiday cup designs, said Jeffrey Field, Starbucks VP of Design and Content, in that year's cup statement. This year, we wanted to usher in the holidays with a purity of design that welcomes all of our stories. We can call this an ideological decision or just a business one. Starbucks knows who its audience is, and it's known that audience is, and it knows that audience is increasingly diverse. Now, that is the dumbest sentence I've ever heard. We can call this an ideological decision or just a business one. Semicolon. Starbucks knows who its audience is. Starbucks is a business. The reason Starbucks knows who their audience is because they have a giant market research department specifically devoted to figuring out who their customer is. So it's purely a business decision because you're talking about a business. In response to this minimalist cup, conservative Christian internet evangelist Joshua Feuerstein. Now, you probably don't pronounce it like that.
Probably
when
not.
you pronounce it in the proper German way, it sounds even scarier.
Right.
Joshua Feuerstein.
Which means Firestone, by the way.
As you love when people do.
Right.
Launched a counter-war on Starbucks, striking back at what he perceived to be their cup-based war on Christmas. In a video titled, "Starbucks removed Christmas from their cups because they hate Jesus, so I pranked them, and they hate it." And classic trying to make stuff go viral. He capped locked remove Christmas, so I pranked them and hate it. Like those words especially stick out. He outlined his complaint. Do you realize that Starbucks wanted to take Christ and Christmas off of their brand new cups? That's what they're just plain red in. Let me actually say this properly. That's what they're plain red. In fact, do you realize that Starbucks isn't allowed to say Merry Christmas to its customers? The prank was that he told a barista his name was Merry Christmas. So they had to write Merry Christmas on the cup and say, like, Merry Christmas, a coffee for Merry Christmas. It's worth noting that while 2015 cup was far more minimal than previous incarnations, no Starbucks cup has ever featured Jesus. Also, the cup was ombre.
I'm not surprised about that.
As of the New York Times dispatch from the cup front in 2017, the video had been viewed over 17 million times. Other conservatives soon amplified Feuerstein's sentiments. Donald Trump, then a long-shot presidential candidate, used the cup as an example of the so-called war on Christmas, a battle that has supposedly been raging since the Puritans banned celebrations of the holiday in the 17th century.
Which I find interesting because I highly doubt Donald Trump even knows who the Puritans were and what they did. Just saying.
The Puritan, isn't that the guy on the Quaker Oats box? But really took off in 2005 with Bill O'Reilly. Liberal antagonism toward the holiday. Now, I love, though, our buddy Joshua Feuerstein. I love his boycott involves going to Starbucks, standing in line, ordering a drink, paying for that drink, and then literally just having the person say a coffee for Merry Christmas.
Right.
Oh, I showed them.
Right. It's like when people were burning all of their Nike stuff. It's like, well, you bought all that stuff.
Yeah, they've already done it. They already got your money.
Right.
You can do whatever you want with it at this point.
Right.
And when that was happening, they were making the jokes about like, oh no, now they lost another 10 Air Monarch sales.
Right, exactly. Which is like for our non-American listeners out there, the Air Monarchs are like the dad shoe in the United States. Yeah, they're like
just white walking shoes, essentially.
I feel like it's either Air
Bulky,
Monarchs or New Balances. My dad rocks the New Balances, but I know a lot of other dads who rock the Air Monarchs.
But New Balance actually did back in the day kind of take a a couple years ago, took a conservative stance, and they were getting a lot of flack, or not flack. People were making fun of them for being like, who cares? You're an old dad shoe anyway.
Right.
Although New Balance does make some good shoes. I'm not gonna lie.
They do.
Yeah, no, like there's this. It really is a one-sided war. No one is saying we don't like Christmas. We're against Christmas. You can't celebrate Christmas.
It's just trying to be inclusive.
And most of these people that are saying Happy Holidays probably celebrate Christmas.
Yeah,
but it's not even about that. Like it's like
I never felt bad telling people Happy Holidays, even when I celebrate Christmas.
Why would you? Yeah, like why would you? So I, Jared Miner, have done my research, and I have found a list from a called the Naughty or Nice list, put out by the
very
AFA,
appropriate
American Family Radio. AFA is American Family something.
Association? AFA?
Yeah, probably. It's a religious association.
Okay.
Every year for at least since 2011, they've put out a nice, marginal, and naughty list. And they're referring to the war on Christmas specifically. And they're talking about the companies that are friendly to Christmas. So, they acknowledge Christmas. And they're all here. Let me let them tell you. We continually update the list. So check back often. Criteria. AFA reviews up to 5 areas to determine if a company is Christmas friendly in their advertising. Print media, newspaper inserts, broadcast media, radio, television, website, social media, Facebook, Twitter, and or personal visits to the store. So, going to the store, do they say Merry Christmas? Do they have outward, signs of Christmas on their walls in the store? It was considered as an attempt to reach Christmas shoppers. If a company's ads has references to items associated with Christmas, trees, wreaths, lights, etc., it was considered as an attempt to reach Christmas shoppers. If a company has items associated with Christmas but did not use the word Christmas, then the company is considered
losing some points
as censoring Christmas. Want to report a company? Send in a... No, I'm not even going to...
That is hilarious to me, though. Like, why does it have to say Christmas specifically? If you have Christmas-associated things, people know you're still talking about Christmas, even if you don't explicitly say the word Christmas.
Chad, this is a war, goddammit.
I guess this is really how privileged we are in the United States. That we have full-blown arguments on Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas.
There are millions of people in the world right now practicing their religion out of the fear of being murdered for it.
Right.
And we're having fake wars,
and we're
on Christmas.
pranking Starbucks by having them write "Merry Christmas" on a damn
people
cup.
Are legitimately concerned about the state of the United States based off of someone saying "Merry Christmas" to you.
Merry
at
Christmas
Starbucks.
or Happy Holidays. Yeah, it's
All right,
crazy.
I'll just run through some highlights. Now, I'll be fair. Their naughty list is larger than the marginal and naughty list. Excuse me.
I'm not surprised.
The nice list is the largest list. That's what I meant.
Oh, really?
Okay. I misspoke.
Interesting.
The nice list
okay.
is the largest.
Just list off a couple from each list.
And here's what I can do. I'm just going to blast through a couple of them. If you hear anyone's that catch your attention, especially in the marginal or naughty section, call them out.
Okay.
Because I can click on any of these and they'll explain their reasoning.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So the nice list.
Can you post this on our Twitter when this episode drops?
Yes.
I think this would be a great thing for our listeners to be able to see.
I'm gonna have to make fun of it somehow though, because I don't want it to be.
That's fine.
I'm not supporting this list in any.
No,
way.
That's fine. I'm sure you'll be able to find a good way
think of some
to
joke
make fun of
about
them. Yeah, right.
Make it a joke. Sorry, I'm saying post naughty or nice list. Make it a joke because I don't want anyone to think I'm supporting this.
You should write something like, "Are you trying to make sure you're not being naughty or nice? Check out these stores for
Oh, you know what? I'll give my personal naughty nice list and it'll be like Pornhub or like.
Who knows? They might say Merry Christmas, Jared. You never know.
Pornhub, I actually follow them on Twitter because they have a pretty funny Twitter account, and they're actually they seem actually quite liberal. I mean, obviously, but they have actually
that's
pretty
a surprise.
funny. They have a pretty funny Twitter account, and it's not just porn.
All right, let's go through this list.
1-800-Flowers. This is the nice list. Some of these are not a surprise. Bass Pro Shop, not a surprise.
Not a surprise. Cabela's not a surprise. Shop. Oh, really?
Bed Bath & Beyond, Bath & Body Works, Banana Republic, Dillard's, which is a department store. It's in Baton Rouge and it's the South. It's
all over.
Big Lots, Dollar Tree, Hallmark. None of these things are surprising.
Hallmark doesn't
so far.
surprise me. No.
No, but they probably also have other specific religious, or like they probably have Hanukkah stuff too. Right. But maybe they specifically do say Merry Christmas. Home Depot, who's buying gifts at Home Depot? J.C. Penney.
You'd be surprised, Jared.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you'd be surprised. Really, J.C. Penney? Okay.
They listen. J.C. Penney, you guys cannot afford to be.
Are they still in business?
That's what I'm saying.
Are they still in business?
You guys cannot afford to be alienating anyone.
Right.
Kroger. All right, now my real question is who's getting gifts from Kroger? LL Bean, Kmart, Lowe's, Macy's, Marshalls, Menards, also not surprising. QVC, Neiman Marcus, True Value, Toys R Us. Well, they don't exist anymore, so
they're reopening. Toys R Us is reopening,
independently, though, right? Isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. So we'll see if they stay on the nice list.
It's not like a corporation, is it? I think people are.
I'm not sure.
Name, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a great question.
Walmart,
I'm not sure.
Zappos, True Value. All right, marginal.
Give me some. Okay. Yeah.
Now Starbucks is on the marginal list.
Fascinating. Okay.
And this is the official AFA list. So hey,
heard it here first.
Hey,
heard it there
Bill
first.
O'Reilly,
but
update your. Now I got to switch. Sorry, my this computer automatically opens to Internet Explorer, and
Oh,
I'm not a Republican.
nope.
I don't use Internet Explorer. Starbucks. Company refers to Christmas infrequently or in a single advertising medium, but not in others. That's what they say.
Okay.
Safeway, which is a grocery store. Best Buy, Whole Foods, Sears, CVS. Amazon, did I say Amazon? And Dollar General.
Okay.
Now, the naughty list. Barnes & Noble.
Okay. Bookstore.
Company
Okay.
may use Christmas sparingly in a single or unique product description, but as a company does not recognize it.
Okay.
Dick's Sporting Goods. They use the word dicks in their title, which is a flagrant reference to penises. Company may use Christmas sparingly in a single, or that's what's going to say for all of it. So they don't recognize Christmas, all these places, essentially. Foot Locker, Kohl's, Gap, Maurice's. I don't know what Maurice's is, but that does not surprise me. Nordstrom, Office Depot, PetSmart, Old Navy, Office Max, Staples, Steinmott.
The funny thing is, a lot of these on the naughty list, I would say, at least what I know about these stores, I feel like the audience is different. A lot of the stores you've listed on the naughty list, a lot of them I think young people tend to use more frequently, whereas a lot of the other ones were like hardware stores and stuff that like adults tend to use more.
You know, it's interesting that you say that. I thought about that specifically when I saw Foot Locker. I thought about, they did say that, 69% of African Americans prefer like Happy Holidays, and I'm sure Foot Locker has a large African American contingency. If you guys didn't know, black people like sneakers.
Right.
I mean, all of these places are also big companies, so they all are privy to the same sort of market research that I could just pull up on Google. And so, these people know their audiences, and it definitely makes sense. Victoria's Secret's also on the list. Also probably knowing their audience. I'm sure if you were to take out females, it'd probably be more towards preferring Happy Holidays. And it's just like generally as you get to more marginalized communities, I'm just going to assume that it's going to slightly sway more towards
probably
towards
that's an interesting list though, Jared. I just can't believe that people are taking time out of their day to make this list, write these reports.
And this feel like continually updated. Like this is not a static list.
Right. Like I feel like you could do so many better things with your day. Okay, fine. If you really love Christmas, why don't you do some of the things that Jesus did and go volunteer at a homeless shelter or go volunteer at a soup kitchen? Do something more productive than just writing a list where
so much easier to just do stuff, sit in front of a computer.
That's true. That is true.
And fun. You can have a side window with YouTube open.
With Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You," or Joel Osteen. That's true too.
Have the 700 Club on in the background.
Right, exactly.
And, now I bet you the AFA would not approve of our song of the pod, but I do.
Probably not.
Now,
what's our song of the pod for today, Jared?
This song, first of all, is shit. I don't have it up in front. Oh, Annuel AA called China, and Anuel probably is how you how you pronounce it. And this song is, bar none, a certified banger. And I could say certified because it's bouncing up on 1 billion views on YouTube. 896 million YouTube views. This song starts, and I'm just hearing of it, so I don't know where I've been. But this song is a banger. It starts off with the Wasn't Me line
by
from
Shaggy.
Wasn't Me by Shaggy. And it sort of uses that beat. And I'm sure they paid a lot of money to get that
melody.
Beat.
That melody.
Excuse me. I'm sure they paid a lot of money to get that melody, and I'm sure they've made that money back exponentially.
Just on YouTube alone, probably 80, almost,
almost 1 billion views, 800, almost 900 million, 800, probably added at this point. And I listened to the song an hour ago. Probably at 900 million at least. And this song, when I was listening to the song, I probably learned or like got excited by 12 different dance moves that I've never seen before in my life that I'm like, that's dope. Have you seen the music video?
Of course not.
Oh my God, dude. This is so good. It's so good. But
you know what I figured out? When you send me messages on iMessage, even YouTube stuff, I can see it.
Oh, so you just play it in, like, do you just play it in
on the
window?
iMessage? Yeah.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Because when you
send me, find it on Youku, couldn't you?
Well, I'll look after we're done recording. Maybe.
But then I'll keep that in mind.
Maybe.
Because I'll send them to you then too.
At least the last one you sent me worked. And I wonder if it's because I just updated my iOS on my phone and updated my iOS on my laptop. Or not my iOS, but my software, my hard drive, whatever the correct terminology is.
I'll send you this one, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But yeah, how did you find the song? This is almost 1 billion views on YouTube.
Spotify.
Yeah,
I typed in Spanish hits. All right, let's see if it'll work real quick. I'm gonna give it a try. Let's see here.
And it really is a banger. Like I like when I saw that it had so many views, I kind of felt
oh no, it won't work now. Weird.
That's
the video you sent me earlier of Steve Walsh. Check out one of our older episodes. He was a guest on our podcast. That one would work.
But maybe it's also
was that one from YouTube or Instagram? Yeah.
The
Steve
I just
Walsh
sent you today.
video.
That was Instagram. Or yesterday.
Maybe it's Instagram videos. Yeah, because I can't get this one to work. I'll have to see if I can find it later and give it a watch.
Yeah, there's some great dance moves in it, and it's
nice.
just it's very catchy. And it's a pretty long song too. It's actually 5 minutes, which is a pretty long for like a top 40 banger kind of thing.
It is. So check it out. China by who's it by again?
Anuel AA. I couldn't understand why it was called China. Also,
I also didn't know, but the title is what caught my attention.
Right.
But
and I'm glad it did. It also has Daddy Yankee in it. He's popular over here.
He is. And if any of our Spanish-speaking listeners can decipher the meaning of the song and can explain to us why it's China. Oh, you can?
I can read it. I could just pull. Oh, that was a Spanish YouTube commercial. Yeah, they have the lyrics on the video.
Sweet.
I'll just read some of them.
Can you just skim it? Is the word China in there anywhere? I don't think I heard China anywhere.
Hold on. I got to get through this Spanish Walmart ad. I was on and I got tangled up. I was on the disc paranado. I don't know what that means. They're doing this cool dance move with their leg. I was on the. All right. I get it. You're on the disc. Your body is pure poison, baby. You take me to heaven, baby.
Yep, this sounds like a
My
reggaeton
wife was
song.
calling me, but I didn't answer.
Oh, jeez.
I was already with you, Peranado, and I forgot about her. My God, forgive me. I don't know why I failed him. Merry Christmas. I was on the record, Peranado, and with that I got tangled up. So he's talking about cheating on his wife. You beat me, you put me in the game, and you hurt me.
Now I feel kind of bad asking you to read these lyrics.
The weekly ticket might be spent on you. I think bijote, excuse me, for being ricotta, I give you cheese. If we don't fight, I never. All right, you get it. It's just about him.
Okay, I don't know why they called it China. Interesting.
Wife.
Right. Weird. I don't know why they titled it China, but anyways.
Me neither. But regardless, I still love the song because it was.
It's a great song. It is. Check it out. Untranslatable Podcast, Song of the Pod playlist. Untranslatable Podcast on YouTube. Speaking of China, though, Jared, I have a Chinese word of the pod for you today, and it's jiaqi, and jiaqi means holidays.
My Spanish word of the pod is polemica.
And what's polemica?
Another word for polemica is controversia.
Oh, controversy. Or controversial. Nice. Well, Jared, I figured since we were talking about Merry Christmas today, I would come in with a couple Christmas jokes. So here we go. What do you call an elf who writes rhymes?
What's that?
A rapper with a W.
That's pretty good, John.
Why?
I wish there was a better way to say it, though. Like where you could just say it and then you'd know that it's with the W.
A rapper. Yeah.
Yeah.
A rapper. Yeah, there's no way.
A rapper.
Right.
A rapper.
Why? This one's a little naughty. So if our children are listening, you need to plug your ears. Earmuffs, everybody. Why is Santa so jolly?
Why is that?
Because he knows where all the naughty girls live. Yes. What do you call an unfriendly and obnoxious reindeer?
Rudolph the red-nosed asshole?
Rudolph.
Oh.
Because they're being rude. All right, and the last one, this one's more of a winter-themed one, but it is wintertime now. And so here we go. What is the difference between snowmen and snow women, Jared?
What's that?
Snowballs.
Oh.
So there we go. There we go. A couple.
Snow-dentify. It's nothing to do with my biology.
That's how you snow-dentify yourself. Nice. Well, I think this has been a fun episode, and I really appreciate all the facts you've brought in, Jared, about the differences between Happy Holidays and Merry Christmas.
You betcha.
And I really think that the whole idea of Happy Holidays, obviously some of my liberal bias may be coming out here, but I think Happy Holidays, the whole reason for it is just for inclusivity, recognizing that people celebrate other holidays other than Christmas. And I think that a lot of people who want you to say Merry Christmas only consider their holiday as a legitimate holiday, which I think is a very big issue, and it's very exclusive, and I think it's just kind of rude, like to only consider that Christmas is the only holiday worth like wishing someone like to enjoy. I just don't think is quite right. I think we should be inclusive. Doesn't matter what race, religion, creed you are. During the holiday season, it shouldn't matter what your holiday is. And in my opinion, you shouldn't be offended if someone wishes you happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas.
If you take someone saying happy holidays as some sort of personal attack, maybe you need to look within.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. Well, let us know what your thoughts are on the war on Christmas at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Slide into our DMs on Twitter, Untranslatable1, for anything Christmas or Happy Holiday related. Check out our Instagram. I'm sure I can dig up some pictures of Christmas time or holiday time, whichever way you want to call it. I'm sure Jared has some too that we could pop up on our Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Give us some feedback on how we could make this podcast better for you. So we hope you have a very happy and healthy holiday season. And as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Děkujeme, muchas gracias, and 谢谢.